What's up everyone, this is FP6 bringing you another video. In today's video, we're coming at you from my sister's house. Yes, Katie and I are back in Washington State and we're kind of traveling around seeing a lot of family right now. So actually we are currently in Idaho right now, which is pretty cool. Hanging out with my sister and her husband and having some quality family time, but the grind never stops. So we're out putting some videos here in Idaho this time, which is pretty cool. And today I want to talk about how awesome SNORLAX is in Premier Cup. SNORLAX, as we know, already has a lot of play in Ultra League, and it kind of functions best, I've found, when you're using SNORLAX as a safe swap. SNORLAX is so bulky and can take a lot of hits, and with its great moveset of Lick, Body Slam, and Earthquake, you're able to hit for neutral damage on pretty much anything that's going to switch in on you. And if you have an energy advantage, you're able to flip a lot of those matchups. What you're going to find is that the matchups that SNORLAX wins, it wins by just a little bit. And the matchups that it loses by just a little bit as well. So I find that it is a very flexible Pokemon, not super hard countery. I know personally I really enjoy Pokemon that have a lot of flexibility and aren't purely based on rock, paper, scissors alignment within the battle. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a lot of battles featuring SNORLAX. Let me know if you enjoy longer videos like this. I had a lot of games that I threw together, and so I fast forwarded these battles a little bit faster than normal, but let's kind of see what's going on. Every single line of 3 that I run in this video, I'm using SNORLAX in the safe swap option, and all these battles are against some of my patrons, so thank you all for supporting the channel. Here you can see Togekiss on Machamp. This is the dream scenario. You don't need to shield anything, and then you're left with still a decent amount of health that charm damage is really going to add up. I'm going to throw this Ancient Power on the opposing Togekiss. Even though it's going to hit for super effective, it just does not do that much damage, but if you get the boost, Togekiss just turns into a wrecking machine. I'm running my Swampert here with Hydro Cannon and Sludge Wave, and I think Sludge Wave is really the way to go in Premier Cup. You're going to be hitting for neutral on Dragonite and super effective on Togekiss. And the matchups that Swampert would already win with Earthquake, like against Metagross, you're still going to be able to hang with that matchup. A couple of my patrons have actually used Metagross with Psychic and Meteor Mash, so no Earthquake. And I actually think this is pretty interesting. And really has me thinking, is Earthquake needed on Metagross? You obviously need it for the mirror. Without Earthquake, you're going to lose the mirror very hard. But Psychic gives you great neutral damage against Swampert, which is one of your worst matchups. So kind of something to consider. And you can, I'm assuming, one-shot a Machamp with Psychic. So kind of some nice coverage there, but here you can see SNORLAX just going to town on this Togekiss. The Body Slam takes it out. Good game there. Looks like these battles are up against monsters, so shout out to them for supporting the channel. Horrible lead. Worst possible lead for me. And then they switch in a Machamp. Okay, so this is a really bad matchup for SNORLAX. But as you can see, SNORLAX is not walled here. We're still able to hit for neutral damage. I love Pokemon where even when some of your hardest counters switch in on you, you're able to hit for at least neutral damage, if not super effective. So this is great. Body Slam is coming through. I get a shield out of there because I committed a shield. There is a case to be made. I could have shielded right there because unfortunately the Machamp is going to be able to farm me down now. And I have to bring out Garchomp into this. Unfortunately, the Mud Shots just do not do that much damage, so it's very difficult to farm down a Machamp with Garchomp. Very difficult. I have to eat a Cross Chop, and I don't want to eat another Cross Chop, so I'm going to throw this Outrage. But as you can see, the Glaceon's going to come in. It's hitting for double super effective with the Ice Shards. This is probably just going to be an Icy Wind to debuff my Magnezone here. And out comes Rhyperior. So also, it's a Mud Slap Rhyperior, so this team could not have been any more hard countery against my line of Garchomp, SNORLAX, and Magnezone, but that's alright. We do shield up that serve. I'm just going straight for the Earthquake here, going to try to chip down this Rhyperior as much as possible. Earthquake takes it out, and the Glaceon is just going to ruin my day. Good game there. Looks like these battles are up against Delacroix. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Worst possible lead in the world. But I'm going to switch in SNORLAX. and they switch in Metagross. This is actually a totally okay matchup for Snorlax. It is bait dependent though. I am hitting Metagross for super effective with the lick damage, and if I were to land the Earthquake, it would pretty much almost take out Metagross. But unfortunately, look what happens. They do not take the bait. I committed a shield, hoping that my opponent would also commit a shield. That did not happen. This Meteor Mash is going to be coming through. I'm actually going to commit my second shield here and just guarantee that I can win back switch advantage, because Garchomp on Togekiss is like the worst possible thing that you could ever see. So I'm going to build up to this Body Slam again. Let's see if I get both shields. I got both shields out of the Metagross. This is great. And I'm able to get to this Body Slam right before the Metagross is able to get to Meteor Mash. So I'm actually going to regain switch advantage. Really good for me. The Togekiss comes back out and is going to be able to farm me down. Unfortunately, I do have Magnezone in the back, but Magnezone is not going to appreciate a Flamethrower, as we will see. Magnezone is unbelievably glassy. Even in Master League, when it's maxed out, it's pretty crazy. It does hit for a lot of damage, but look how much damage this Flamethrower does. Oh my gosh. Non-stop Flamethrower, and then my Garchomp is going to get on the opposing Garchomp, but it doesn't matter. They're going to outpace me to this Outrage here and take me out, and then Mud Shot down my Magnezone. Good game there. Luckily, Snorlax was able to win back switch advantage for me, but in the end, it didn't matter. This is not the best matchup for Metagross, but the Magnezone does have to throw Wild Charge and debuff themselves in this matchup. So they bait me with Mirror Shot, which is unfortunate, and now my opponent uses Snorlax as a safe swap. So really nice play. In that scenario, I did lane the Meteor Mash because I need to soften up Snorlax, or at least get on even shields before I can bring a Pokemon into it. At this point, I'm overfarming just a little bit. Now I'm going to throw the Dragon Claw. They let it go, and I'm able to Dragon Breath it down. Okay. Out comes Magnezone again. Wild Charge is absolutely going to take me out at this range, so I'm just trying to do as much chip damage to this Magnezone as possible. Mirror Shot is definitely not going to be enough to take me out. Mirror Shot's a pretty terrible move. There's the Wild Charge. Definitely takes me out. I still have a full health Snorlax in the back. And they bring out their Swampert. So Snorlax is going to be able to hang in this Swampert matchup. We are down a shield, which is unfortunate, but we have a slight energy advantage. And you can see just how much damage these licks are doing, and the Body Slams are really adding up. Hydro Cannon does a decent chunk to Snorlax, and Swampert, as we know, is going to be able to get to these Hydro Cannons very quickly. Swampert, I believe, barely outpaces Snorlax in getting to these Hydro Cannons. Swampert kind of alternates between 5 Mud Shots and 4 Mud Shots to get to the Hydro Cannon. And I always forget how many licks it takes to get to Body Slam. I think like 11 or 12 licks, maybe? The Mirror Shot does not even take me out. I'm going to bring out my Metagross here. I'm assuming this is going to be a Wild Charge. It is, and I don't shield it for some reason. I'm able to farm down the Magnezone, and then I'm going to be able to land this Meteor Mash on the Swampert. I was saving the shield for the Swampert, so that makes sense. Good game there. We're able to take it. My opponent used Snorlax as a safe swap. Togekiss into Metagross. Worst possible scenario, so we're going to switch in Snorlax, and they switch in their opposing Togekiss. This is a totally fine matchup for me. You see me making a lot of mistakes here on when I'm throwing my Body Slam. Ideally, you want to throw your charge move so your opponent does not get an extra charm in, but 2 times in a row that happened. I was just barely too late in queuing up my Body Slam. If you see the little charm animation go through while you are throwing your charge move, that is not good. You're giving your opponent free energy and damage. So, especially when you're rocking a 1-turn fast move like Lick, and your opponent's rocking a 3-turn move of Charm, you have a lot of leeway of where you're going to queue up that charge move, and you need to try to make sure you're not giving your opponent free energy, which I unfortunately did a lot in there. So we regain switch advantage, which is amazing, because now my Togekiss gets to avoid this Metagross. If this is an Earthquake, it's going to one-shot me. Luckily, I shield up the Earthquake, which is really good for me. Out comes Swampert. I still have a Wild Charge stored, so we need to remember that. If this Swampert was running Sludge Wave, this would be slightly better of a matchup, because Swampert has to land 3 Hydro Cannons here. as opposed to landing a Sludge Wave and a Hydro Cannon. You cannot Mudshot down to Togekiss. I'm able to Charm down the Swampert. Gonna throw this Flamethrower, which as we know would do a decent chunk to Metagross. I do get the last shield, and at this point I know Magnezone should win CMP against Metagross, and Wild Charge is definitely going to take it out. Good game. Snorlax coming through clutch, man. Regaining me switch advantage again when I needed it the most. Togekiss mirror match. Oh boy, aren't these great. You can either fully commit to the farm down and commit a shield to ensure that you maintain switch advantage, or you can just throw the ancient power like we're both opting to do here. And then I believe I switch into my Snorlax to get a jump start on energy. I'm able to lick down the Togekiss, which is good. He has his own opposing Snorlax, and I am at an energy. I'm at a health disadvantage here. So I'm trying to overfarm here to try to bluff that I have superpower. The recommended moveset for non-Shadow Snorlax, so normal Snorlax and Premier Cup, is actually Body Slam, Earthquake, but for some reason Shadow Snorlax, it's Body Slam Superpower. There must be a couple of specific matchups that Shadow Snorlax is able to win with Superpower, although I wonder what it could be for Premier Cup. Honestly, I think Body Slam, Earthquake is just a safer moveset. Superpower probably for the mirror, but you don't really want to end up debuffing yourself in the mirror, so... Going for a Flash Cannon here on this Garchomp, does a decent amount of damage. But they are going to throw some energy here. Pretty sure I'm in Outrage range, but they go for the Earthquake to just totally nuke the crap out of me. I bring out Togekiss, able to almost farm down the Garchomp. Definitely going to let Togekiss go here. And now I'm going to bring out Snorlax to farm it down a little bit more. Out comes the opposing Snorlax. I think I need to hit 3 Body Slams on this Snorlax to take it out. Definitely going to need to hit 3. We both have a shield. He has a slight energy advantage, so ideally I think he's going to win out this scenario, but we will see. Snorlax on Snorlax action here. He still did not shield that. Again, probably maybe thinking that I had superpower, so saving it for that potential superpower, but... And why the heck did I not throw Body Slam right there? I barely survived. Now I'm going to throw Body Slam, but he got in like 1 or 2 extra licks there, which is not great. And he's going to be able to take me out. So close. Very close. Good game. Metagross into Metagross. All right. I believe he does not have Earthquake, though. So I'm going to stay in this. And he brings out Heracross. I don't have a response to Heracross in this line. Metagross, Snorlax, and Machamp. Interesting team comp here. Weak to Togekiss in the back, and weak to Heracross, as we're seeing here. So I'm going to stay in here, get some shields. I do shield up the Earthquake, which is great. I'm assuming he's running close combat Earthquake here. This is most likely going to get the last shield. It does, which is good for me. I know he still has Metagross, but both Snorlax and Machamp have play against Metagross, especially Snorlax up a shield. All you need to do is land that Earthquake. So I'm actually going to bring out my Machamp to farm it down, but then they bring out Metagross. This is totally fine for me. I know I'm going to get hit by 1 Meteor Mash, but I'm assuming, okay, they actually go for Psychic to potentially drop my defense there. I'm going to be able to get to this Earthquake right before the Metagross is able to get to another charge move, which is really good for me. Takes it out. The Heracross has cleared their debuff, so I need to be aware of that. Out comes Electivire with no shields. Electivire is very glassy. Look how much Body Slam does. Almost like 40% damage to Electivire. That's insane. And I'm going to be able to land another Body Slam here. Really good for me. And it takes out Electivire. Good game there. Gyarados into Mamoswine. This is not the best matchup for Gyarados. I feel like if I were to double shield, I might be able to win just from the Dragon Breath damage, because Mamoswine cleanly outpaces Gyarados here. And the Avalanche does so much damage. I'm going to be honest, I am not impressed by any of the ice types in Premier League. Glaceon, so glassy. And Mamoswine is also fairly glassy. And Ice as a defensive typing is pretty terrible. Mamoswine specifically, Ice and Ground, you have so many weaknesses. so many weaknesses and not a lot of good resistances. So like even against the Dragonite matchup, it's not even that good because the Dragon Breath damage and Dragon Claw damage really adds up on Mamoswine. So I am not the biggest fan of Mamoswine, but you do output a lot of damage, that is for sure. I just don't like that it doesn't have very many defensive opportunities there with its typing. So at this point, I'm in a tricky scenario. I cannot Mudshot down a Togekiss, but I'm going to bring out Swampert to absorb this energy, either an Ancient Power or a Flamethrower. I can totally tank it. Now I bring out my Gyarados. I was going to try to farm it down, but there's a Venusaur in the back. My Swampert has to avoid that Venusaur for sure. So Frenzy Plant, Gyarados can actually tank it just fine here in the Master League CP range. Also, this is a Shundo. Shiny Hundo Gyarados. This is one of my most prized possession Pokemon, which is pretty cool. I think Gyarados has a decent amount of play in Premier Cup as well. Again, it's one of those flexible Pokemon that essentially is not walled by too many things, so that's great. Gonna bring out Swampert here. Mamoswine's gonna take super effective damage from the Hydro Cannon. Out comes the Togekiss, and I'm gonna be able to get to this Hydro Cannon and take it out. Good game there. Swampert is a beast. In all 3 leagues, Swampert is a beast. And Snorlax is a beast in all 3 leagues as well. However, in Great League, you should definitely opt for Munchlax to get more bulk out of the situation. Dragonite Mirror Match. I'm assuming we're both rocking Hundo IVs here, non-Best Buddy boosted. I was hoping to catch a Dragon Claw on this Magnezone, but that ain't happening. And now my opponent's Dragonite is very loaded on energy, so I need to be aware of that. Going straight for the Wild Charge, and it lands on the Snorlax, which is really good for me. I have overfarmed so much energy here. Going to go for another Wild Charge. I do get a shield. It's kind of risky to bait with Flash Cannon, especially when Flash Cannon is higher energy costs. So I'm just going straight Wild Charge here. Magnezone putting in a lot of work when I was able to have that steep of an energy and shield advantage, but I haven't been too impressed by Magnezone. I need to kind of get more used to its play. It's fairly glassy, but it can output a lot of damage with that Wild Charge. I need some more practice with it, that's for sure. At the day that you guys will be watching this, which is tomorrow for me, but the King Battle Royale will actually be taking place. If I remember correctly, it's 8 p.m. Eastern time, I think. 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be really cool. We know that Go Battle League is down, so King IV, I'm sure you guys all know of him on YouTube and on Twitch. He's going to be streaming his own, like, essentially mock Go Battle League. I think we have like over 150 participants. It's going to be really fun, so make sure to tune in on Twitch today when you're watching this video. King should be streaming it. I'll be streaming my perspective, and it's essentially going to be like Go Battle League, but in King's format there, so it's going to be really cool. Horrible lead. I used Snorlax as a safe swap, and I'm met by a Lucario. Another absolutely horrible lead, or a horrible scenario. I knew that was going to be a power-up punch, and they're just going to rack up so much energy and buffs here. This is going to be pretty terrible for me. I went for the Earthquake. I definitely could have baited with Body Slam and then landed the Earthquake, but I am in a horrible position here. This is probably going to be a Shadow Ball, but I'm just hoping a double-shielded Machamp or double-shielded Glaceon can do something. I'm hoping that this is their only fighting type that they're running. If we're going to throw the Outrage, this is going to be able to take out the Lucario. I still have 2 shields. And they have a Machamp in the back. What? They're like, oh man, this team countered me so hard. Garchomp into Togekiss, worst possible scenario, and then they had Double Fighter in the back. Oh my gosh. Snorlax and Glaceon just got absolutely destroyed there. I'm going to shield this up, and then I'm going to be able to get to the Avalanche, which is going to be able to take out Machamp, which is good for me, but I got a Togekiss to deal with. That ain't happening. Oh man. Good game. That team absolutely countered this line. Alright, let's see what we're going into here. Swampert into Metagross. Really good scenario for us. I'm expecting the switch out. There it is. into a Gyarados, and I'm very slow to decide on what I want to do here. So big mistake on my part. I didn't really have a direct answer to Gyarados, and both Swampert and Snorlax have play against Metagross, so that's why I was so slow to the switch in. I was hoping to correctly shield up a Hydro Pump, but that did not happen. And 2 Body Slams are barely not going to be enough to take out this Gyarados. This is not good. I have to double shield this, but it's a Hydro Pump, and I let it go through, and they're able to Dragon Breath me down. Holy crap, that Gyarados just put in so much work. But I'm actually going to come out with my Swampert and Mud Shot this thing down, and just hope that whatever he has in the back... Oh man, it's a Dragonite. This is not good. This is where Sludge Wave comes in handy. Does about 45% damage, as you can see. But this is not good. Metagross already has a jump start of energy because they farmed up a little bit in the beginning, which is a pretty smart play. I do correctly shield up the Earthquake, which is good for me, but all they have to do is just go straight Earthquake. And even if I double bait, I'm not going to be able to get to an Earthquake here. So this is not going to be good at all. Just going for double Meteor Mash here. And I get the last shield. They're going to overfarm a little bit and now throw Earthquake. We are in a bad situation here, folks. Gonna overfarm. I need enough energy to threaten the Sludge Wave on the Dragonite. Hydro Cannon is barely not enough to take it out. I get 1 more Mudshot's worth of energy. They bring in Dragonite. Is the Sludge Wave enough to KO this thing? It's so close. It's not enough. And the Mudshots definitely aren't going to do this. The Dragon Claw is going to take me out. Good game. Super close. Almost came back from that. Swampert into Electivire. Really good scenario for us. They immediately switch into Togekiss, and we are able to get a Metagross switch locked against a Togekiss. You could not ask for a better scenario. We're going to leave this matchup very healthy. The Togekiss does not shield. That's fine. They're rocking Shiny Arcanine. How cool is that thing? Rocking Snarl as the fast move, and then probably Crunch and Wild Charge. As you can see, Crunch hits for super effective. Non-stab, but still does a lot of damage, or a decent chunk of damage. I go straight for the Earthquake there. They're able to Snarl me down, which is not ideal. I know that they still have Electivire. I'm going to bring out Swampert here. Hydro Cannon is going to be hitting for very strong super effective damage on the Arcanine. Could have overfarmed even a little bit more, but I did not want to get hit by another Crunch. Now I'm going to switch in my Snorlax. We have 2 shields. We're looking totally fine. This is probably going to be a Wild Charge here, but I wanted to see how much a non-stab Wild Charge does. Does about 30% damage, not too bad. Electivire also learns Wild Charge, so I was worried that this would be a Wild Charge. I do shield it up. It's only a Thunder Punch. I'm able to farm a little bit more. Now I'm going to go for the Earthquake Nuke. This is absolutely going to take out Electivire, for sure. Out comes the Arcanine. We're going to be able to throw this Body Slam and definitely going to be able to take it out here. Crunch comes through. Not a huge amount of damage on Snorlax. Again, Snorlax is incredibly bulky. We're able to take that game. Good game. Alright, Weavile into Gyarados. Who knows how this goes, man. My Weavile's rocking Snarl, Avalanche, and Focus Blast. This is a Hundo Weavile. I know Avalanche would hit for so much damage. I do resist Crunch, but Weavile is insanely glassy as much. That Avalanche did not hit for as much damage as I was hoping it would. And this Dragon Breath damage is really hurting. So I switch into my Snorlax to catch this Crunch. Okay. Interesting play. And now they bring out their Swampert. I am at a health disadvantage, but an energy advantage. I'm going to let that first Hydro Cannon go through. Just going to go straight Body Slam here. There's no sense in going for Earthquake. Body Slam is more energy efficient. You get stab on it, and it's a pretty solid move. So I will shield up this Hydro Cannon. Now I'm going to throw the Body Slam. My opponent got a Mud Shot through while I'm throwing, so that's not great. Now I'm going to switch into my Togekiss. And they have a Metagross in the back. Kind of a stupid move on my part. Switch locking my Togekiss against this Metagross, not a smart move at all. All the Metagross has to do is shield and farm down, and they're going to leave this matchup with so much stored energy, and I'm going to be in a very tough scenario here. Oh man, this is not good. Not good. Farmed all the way down. Really bad. I'm going to bring in Weavile to hopefully absorb all this damage. That's all it's good for at this point. Yep. Here comes Meteor Mash. This would probably one-shot a full health Weavile. I bring out Snorlax. Can I get to Body Slam? That ain't happening. This Metagross has enough energy for Season 10. Takes me out with the Meteor Mash. Good game. I think we got one more battle here. Machamp into Dragonite. Not a great scenario. Gonna use Snorlax as my safe switch always. This is just gonna be a Dragon Class. Snorlax can totally hang with this. I'm expecting a switch out. There it is. Into Swampert again. But I have a lot of stored up energy. Just going to go straight Body Slam here. Machamp obviously needs to avoid Dragonite, but if I am stuck in that scenario, I will at least have Rock Slide to threaten. And Snorlax was able to lower the Dragonite's health a little bit with the lick damage before the Dragonites switched out of there, so that's not bad. Oh, the Swampert is so spammy. I will shield up here. Gonna overfarm a little bit because the mud shots really don't do that much damage. Let's see if they want to shield. They're gonna let the Swampert go and then probably bring in Dragonite to farm me down again. That's a smart play. Very smart play. And, oh, here we go, Mamoswine. Time to shine. You're hitting for double super effective. The Powder Snows are decent damage. Doing decent damage. Oh man. Out comes Arcanine. I have no shields. I'm just going for Cross Chop here, hoping to get some shields. I do get a shield there. That's really good for me. Rock Slide would hit for super effective. This is not good. It's probably a Wild Charge. It is, but they dropped their defense. They stacked up to 2 Wild Charges. This is so bad. Oh, down goes Machamp. Come on, Mamoswine. I have to farm enough energy to get to 2 Avalanches, but you will see it's a very close finish at the end of this game. If you guys like this type of content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to check me out on Twitch. Today is when that fun event is going to be airing. I think 8 p.m. Eastern time, so make sure to check that out. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.